George Floyd, Michael Brown, Emmett Till, Sandra Bland, 8 minutes, 46 seconds. A moment of 8 minutes and 46 seconds of silence. I can't breathe. They held him down. A knee to his neck, 3 others holding him body down, 1 keeping the crowd from intervening. And they held him down. I can't breathe until he would never breathe again. That's why we're here today. The program begins.
It could have always been all lives matter if history was different. Could you guys imagine a world where we all are treated as equal no matter the color of our skin? There would be so much peace and less hate. I feel like one of the problems is fear. If we took the time out to talk to each other and to learn from each other, we might not fear one another because of the stereotype that come from the color of our skin. There's a bunch of videos and pictures of children protesting with captions saying, "I love this. These kids are strong." Young girls protesting for Black Lives Matter. When I see that, it hurts me so much. They're protesting for their lives. They're protesting for their future. They understand that what's going on is wrong. I wouldn't want to bring a child into this world right now. It's not safe. It's not safe for anyone now. Even the people who are standing with us are being targeted by cops, getting shot with rubber bullets, beaten with bats. The list goes on. But change is going to come. Everyone around the world is standing for this cause. They're standing up for what's right and what's wrong.
At the end of the day, we were all raised to know what was right and what was wrong. All our parents. Doesn't matter the color of your skin at this point. The cops are going after boys, girls, blacks, whites. It doesn't matter now. They're going after the whole entire human race. We need to stand together. We need to come together as one race, as the human race, and help each other. I will keep speaking and letting my voice be heard and speaking for the people
who don't have a voice that can be heard.
It's good to see everyone coming together for a cause, and it's about love. You know, love heals all things. All things.
I stand here today to call all white people to do the work of self-education, of self-examination, and of self-sacrifice that is necessary to end racism and its plague on Black people and people of color in this country and beyond. The work starts at home, in ourselves, in our families, in our houses, in our schools, in our towns, in our counties. A young Black man of African descent who lived near Callicoon for the majority of his childhood shared his story of growing up here and received death threats for having done so. He must therefore remain anonymous in order to protect himself and his family, but he and I have been in dialogue and believe it is important for his story to be told, and that white allies must publicly step forward to share his story and others, and to call for a commitment to end racism and from all of our white community members. These are his words.
I used to live near the Callicoon area for the majority of my childhood. If you have any remorse and you want to believe that you're not part of the problem, you have to do more than just a protest. You have to change the whole culture of your town. You have to open a dialogue and face the difficult questions. Delaware Valley Central School was a prime example of institutionalized and indoctrinated racism in its most volatile form. From kindergarten to 8th grade, I grew up in an environment where I was tortured, gaslighted, oppressed, suppressed, traumatized, bullied, all because I was speaking my truth about what was really happening to me. I was treated like 3/4 of a person. My peers failed me. My teachers failed me. The faculty failed me. All the while, Callicoon supported all of it. I'm so glad that school closed down because it ruined my life. I wasn't able to form friendships nor trust anyone because of my trauma, which affects my adult life to this day. When I graduated from Sullivan West, I had people come up to me to apologize for what they have done. But in truth, it meant nothing. You still had privilege while people of color did not. You can't take back the years of emotional pain, distress, and isolation. You have to live with that for the rest of your lives. Callicoon, this is the end result of your ignorance. I remember getting beat up in a gym locker room or in the hallways and being called a nigger repeatedly, every day. I remember having to defend myself on the bus every day because of the color of my skin. No child of color should ever have to grow up in an environment that toxic. The white community needs to hold themselves accountable. There was not one good memory of my time while living in Sullivan County. I remember walking down my road to meet with a friend, just to be chased down by someone in an old beat-up truck shooting their gun at me as I ran into the woods while they were saying, "Let's catch these niggers." You have to do better. You have to do more. The conversation cannot be a blip in the moment. Systemic racism started with the white community, created a privilege that you possess, and it can most certainly end it. So, I challenge you today to do something about it. While I won't be there in person today, it means a lot that my experience will be shared for the greater good of dismantling white supremacy, white entitlement, and white privilege. Enabling these behaviors only perpetuates the hate and exclusion.
We white people must accept this challenge. Right now, in this moment, showing up for racial justice at this and other protests is a good first step, but it is only a first step. We have a long road, a lifetime road ahead of us, and we cannot tire. We have a responsibility to be aware, to be awake, to be alert to racism, white supremacy, white entitlement, white privilege, white patriarchy. In our actions and the actions of our friends, families, neighbors, civic leaders, teachers, grocers, and strangers. It is our work to actively engage ourselves every day in the work of dismantling racism. We have to figure this out. It is not the work of our black brothers and sisters to tell us what we have got wrong. We need to go into the corner and take a time out and figure it out for ourselves and get it right. We cannot continue to stand idly by, quietly looking away at even the slightest hint of harm. When the fervor of this moment subsides, we must continue our work. We cannot wait for rallies and protests or the death of another black man or woman to wake us up once again.
At 8, I had no idea or knowledge of a life that had taken place long before me. Malcolm X, civil rights, Rosa Parks, Brown versus the Board of Education, Martin Luther King Jr., or Stokely Carmichael. Now, all alone with no mirrors to reflect my soul, my journey had taken me on a different road to a life in the country where I was introduced to hate, anger, and pain. I've not heard once in the news any police officer having told a person, "You have no constitutional rights, and you have to do whatever a police officer tells you." But as they harassed my mother, I had to stand there while the police officers were screaming in her face. And it was my mother and I coming home from the Concord Hotel early in the morning from babysitting. And because the police officer was trying to find another woman to feel up, and my mother insisted you don't put your hands on her. And it was known at the police department, the sheriff's department in Monticello, that this was what the officer was doing to different women. And my mother refused to let him touch her. And she stayed firm in who she was. And because of that, the man harassed her. George Floyd died for a purpose. I wrote a poem called Create or Regurgitate. Are we going to create something new? Or are we going to regurgitate the same shit we've been living since long before the 60s? If you're taking responsibility, we all need to take responsibility. Change needs to come. That's why you're here. We chose to all meet together at this point in time, in 2020, when the coronavirus is going on. Because we're fed up and we're tired of the bullshit. Now we all need to do something. This isn't just a moment. Do something. We are the civil rights movement. We are Martin Luther King Jr. We are George Floyd. We are Harriet Tubman. We are Barack Obama. We are the government. And it's time we all realize that and do something about it. Today, now, I have too many relatives and friends that have been harassed by the police. The news is only telling stories about something. There are many people out there about stories. And any white person that has to suffer, any Puerto Rican person, whatever nationality they are, we all have a story. We should not be going through this. This should not be happening. I shouldn't be calling you white people, you calling me black people. We should be saying, hello! Yes! Another human being! Hello! Another child of God! Yes! Hello! Yes! Yes! Hello! Yes! Another American citizen!
What do we say to the family of George Floyd? What do we say to the families of all those who've been killed by police misconduct, police brutality? The very first newspaper, African-American newspaper, March 16th, 1827, out of New York, in that very first editorial, talks about police brutality. Up until these past few years of cell phone video, we've always been told, oh, just a few bad apples. The few bad apples have lived for 200 years? And so I, in a way, don't put the full onus only on the police. I put the onus on us for tolerating it. There's a demonstrated sign I saw on television: when your complexion is a weapon, you're never unarmed. And indeed, black people are always treated as though we're armed. Black people who are walking away are always treated like we are approaching. Black people who are asleep are always treated like they're responsible for being awake at all times. But I'm also one of the 4 children who desegregated New York's public schools. And therefore we were at 8 years old. And what we went through at 8 years old by supposed grown-ups, I don't want to hear about the politics. I don't want to hear about what somebody else told you. I don't want to hear about any of it. I just want to know what is wrong with somebody who would spit in an 8-year-old's face, who would tear an 8-year-old's dress. What is wrong? Who is raising these people? And that's what's wrong. That's what brings us here. Because of that experience, was introduced to Dr. King when I was 10 at the Riverside Church in New York City. There was a receiving line, and my cousin and I and the 2 others who were part of the school desegregation movement were brought to the center. And he looked at me like there was nobody else in the world, and he lifted my chin because I was so awed. He was a young man, but he was fresh from the wars of Rosa Parks and the Montgomery bus boycott. And our families told us about how courageous this entire town of black people had been. And then he said he would promise me something. He said that he would promise me that what he was doing, because of what I was doing, no children would ever have to live through what we were going through at that time again. And these days I say, no, Dr. King didn't lie for me. Dr. King died for me. Dr. King did not lie for me. America lied to me. And America is lying to children to this day. So in pursuit of that experience, live by example, lead by example. That's what it's about. That's what all this is about. We are the ones we have been waiting for. Thank you.
Then we're going to close out today with a poem by a friend of ours called Derek. His name was Derek Clark. He died a few years ago, and his mom's here to play his poem for us.
Before I play his poem, I would just like to say that Derek helped me a lot in high school. There wasn't a lot of people in Sullivan West of color, and Derek really took me under his wing and kind of guided me through high school and taught me how to be comfortable in my own skin around this type of society. So here's his words.
This poem is called A Letter to One of My Teachers. Back in elementary school, you once called me the best black student you ever had. Like I wasn't the only. I guess it was because of my knowledge base. But I was still young and just one son among a ton of white faces. So I didn't realize what you were saying to me was actually racist. So I took pride in my title. I worked hard. I studied. I tried to be the best damn black student I could be. So I got A's on every test. But then I got a little bit older, and I realized it was my mastery of your education that made me the best. It's by your executive order, I can name 9 Andrew Jacksons, 9 Thomas Edisons, 8 Christopher Columbus for every 1 8 Philip Randolph. I remember those sunny days on the playground. The other kids used to call me a fucking Oreo. I was like, alright, fuck all you fair weather friends who accept me just because I talk white. I don't need you in my life. I face enough discrimination. I bet you don't even realize the fried chicken stereotype is the result of the birth of a nation. No, you don't, because your eyes devise the sick guys to disguise the way you dehumanize us. That's why you call us nigger, spick, goober, chink. You don't even take 1 second to stop and think that, hey, maybe we could unite and rise above these degrees of separation. That together we reach places higher than the 38th parallel. Because I don't give a shit if you're black, if you're white, pink, tan, red, or blue, it's fine, we're cool. You should know that. Because God put us on this planet knowing there's more than one way to skin a cat. But that message is lost on our leaders, politicians who behave like they're Machiavellian princes of all things. So why the fuck would we expect something like freedom to ring when there's still not enough men who will lead like a king?
I've lost a lot of friends in the last week. People who used to come to my house and sit at my table find it comfortable to use the word nigger, to drive past my house and call me that. These were supposed to be my friends, the people I went to high school with. To do something like that, and your actions speak louder than your words. They come to me with every protest I go to. They stand by me and they love me for who I am. They stick up on social media and in person, and they tell people not to use these words, these racist words, and to love people for who they are. And I'm so grateful for that. And now I only have 2 friends, but they are my lifetime family members.